Hey guys, I just want to make a quick video just reiterating going about the production possibilities frontier. So remember a couple things about it is you have two goods here. So let's say X and Y. It really doesn't matter what they are. It could be tea and coffee. It could be cars and t-shirts. It could be Y and X. Right? It really doesn't matter what two goods there are. But the idea is that this represents the most amount of X you're doing. And if you're doing this, so let's like you're at point A. If you're at point A, this is the most amount of X you can do and zero Y. So like if you had 24 hours in a day, you devote all your time to X. So if you do that, then you have no time for Y. But if you start doing more Y, you have to do less X. If you start doing more Y again, you have to do less X. And so what's happening here is you are creating the production possibilities frontier where these are the different combinations of X and Y that you can do. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to put some numbers to this. So let's say these are the bundles. And bundles are just like a combination of X and Y. So if you had a basket or a bundle, how many X and how many Y do you have? So let's just say A, B, C, and D, and E, and F. Okay. And so I'm just going to make up numbers here. So right here, let's say this is 100. Let's say this is 95. Let's say this is 85. Let's say this is 70. Let's say this is 30. Or let's say this is 50. And then obviously that is 0. And to make this easy, let's just say this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, right, we have X, we have Y, and for bundle A, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I know it doesn't look like this. This is not drawn to scale, but this is just trying to make it to where you can understand what's going on here. And so what happens here is as more Y you're making. So like going from 1 to 2 or 0 to 1, right? You were at 100x right here, but then you're at 95. So to go from 0 to 1 Y, you had to give up 5x. So what happens here is the opportunity cost of Y. So opportunity cost of Y. Another way to read that is the cost of making Y. When you're doing Y, you're not doing X. So what are you giving up there? So we're going to skip the first one. To make 1 Y, you had to give up 5X. So 5X would be like 5 t-shirts, 5 cars, right? That's what you gave up to make 1 Y. The next one we see we have 85 and 70 and 50. So we'll just write down those numbers here. And then that's 0. And so what happens here on the opportunity cost of Y, we can just write out the cost of making it. So the next one would be 10x, right? So to go from 1 to 2, you had to give up 10x, right? We were at 95 and now we're at 85, so 10x. The next one would be 15x, the next one would be 20x, and the next one would be 50x. So this is the opportunity cost of Y. If we were to go the other way, so like if I gave you this graph right here and I said 1, 2, 3, 4, and it looks something like this. And I don't know the numbers here. But I do give you the chart. So bundle 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I say, let's say this is cars, and then let's say this is airplanes. Okay, so planes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't know the cars, but we do know, I'm going to make these numbers up again. We do know the opportunity cost of planes. Okay, so the opportunity cost of planes. This is the cost of making planes in terms of cars. So let's say, let me move this over a little bit. So this is opportunity cost of planes, and then you could say in terms of cars. So again, I'm just going to make up numbers here, but let's say it's 10, 12, 15, and 20. So to make the first plane, it cost you 10 cars. All right. To do the next one, it costs you 12 cars. Right. So so let's say this top number here was. Well, let me move this over again. So let's say this top number here was 300. Okay. To make the first plane, right, it cost you 10 cars. So if you started at 300 and to go to the first plane, it cost you 10 cars, that means this has to be 290 because you started at 300, cost you 10, so you now have 290 cars. To go to the second plane, it costs you 12 cars. So to go from here, X4 to X3, it costs you 12 cars to make the second plane. So now you're at 290. It costs you 12 cars, so now you're at 278. Right? It costs you 12 cars. To do the next one, it costs you 15 cars. So to do the third plane, it costs you 15 cars. So now you're at 263. Okay? And then the next one, it costs you 20 cars. So now you're just at 243. So if you're going here to here, it costs you 20. So what this looks like on a graph is, instead of x's 1, 2, 3, 4, you can just do 290, 278, 263, 243. Okay? And there you could see what you're giving up every time you make a plane, the opportunity cost. The last thing is the comparative advantage. So if we had this for, let's say, Brazil, and then we're looking at another country, let's say Mexico, and we're trying to compare the opportunity cost of planes. So they have an opportunity cost of planes. And again, I'm just going to make up numbers here, but let's say they're also doing 1, 2, 3, 4. And theirs are 3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars, and 6 cars. So to make one plane, it cost them 3 cars. To make the second plane, it cost them 4 cars. So looking at here, we have Brazil and Mexico. Who can make planes cheaper? The opportunity cost of planes is cheaper for Mexico. When this happens, Mexico has comparative advantage in planes. So if you have the lower opportunity cost, you have the comparative advantage. So that means that Mexico is going to basically make planes. If Mexico can do planes cheaper, that automatically means that Brazil can make cars cheaper. So basically, if Brazil has to give up more cars to make planes, they are going to give up less planes to make cars. It's just how it works. It is like a reciprocal. They go in opposite directions like that. So if Mexico has the comparative advantage in planes, automatically that means Brazil has the comparative advantage in cars. Automatically. So hopefully that answers some of your questions about production possibilities frontier and opportunity costs. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day.